Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Honestly, it all started with the end of an era, a little inspiration from an MTV show, and chewing gum. Yep, that's right, chewing gum. Well, it all started off at 5 years old. My brother was already in gymnastics, and that's how I got into it. I didn't listen well, what 5-year-old does, but I was ridiculously strong for my age. I do remember back at the club gym, and I was definitely in grade school, and my coach asked me once to try a cross, and I did, and I paused and held myself there for a second or two. It wasn't pretty, my elbows were a little bent, I was obviously high, but the fact that I can kind of even do it without ever trying was pretty impressive. Safe to say, my coach was shocked. I never really trained it again until I got much older, but I had a natural knack. My body type was just built for a cross. As a gymnast, I was always really strong and powerful. Definitely not the cleanest, and that's something that I had to work on all throughout my career, but I worked my way up. And despite all those challenges, I accomplished a lot in gymnastics. I was a junior national team member, a 4-time All-American at the University of Illinois, and a 2-time co-captain. I competed internationally at events for the United States, such as Junior Pan American Games and the World University Games. Well, fast forward to my senior year in college. We just come off a great season as a team. We were ranked 5th or 6th heading in, and we came out of nowhere and finished 3rd place. I was in the best shape of my life, but pretty much done with my physical career, and I didn't know what else to do. So I sat back, chilling at the house, and stumbled upon a TV show. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this show, but Robin Big. There happened to be an episode where they end up breaking all sorts of world records, whether, Big is eating bananas or Rob is actually doing some pretty cool skateboarding tricks. After watching that show, I thought to myself, I'm in the best shape of my life. There's got to be some sort of world record I could break, right? So I started searching. At first, I thought about a plunge, but when I looked it up, I don't know if I couldn't find it or the record was just way too long. Then I kept looking for other gymnastics type things and stumbled upon on their website the Roman ring hang duration. Yeah, it's really interesting that they chose Roman ring hang, because I put an iron cross and nothing popped up. But if you don't know what the Roman ring hang is, go ahead and look up Old School with Vince Vaughn. So that's it. One of the most iconic gymnastics moves of all time, right? How cool would that be to own that world record? Well, the record was 22.9 seconds. So I remember walking into Kenny Gym the very next day and went on the rings, had someone time me, held it for 20 seconds. I just dropped down. I'm like, okay, I could beat this. I should start training a little bit more and figure out how to actually set this world record. So now I knew I could break the world record. It was just, how do I do this to make it official? Well, I ended up applying online after learning I didn't need to have someone come out to physically watch and, make it official, because I was a poor college student. I mean, I didn't have money to have a guy fly out from Europe and hotels and send him back, right? Just to set a world record. That's nonsense. Well, luckily at that time you didn't have to, and I think even now it might be easier to apply than when I did. I think I had to literally receive things in the mail. I got official paperwork, and it had all the different things that you had to do to make it official. So the rules had things such as they had to be on an official gymnastics rings, right? So it can't just be on some rando set of whatever strap length. You have to hold the cross completely horizontal like a perfect T and not swing or move at all. There could be no more than 1/10 deduction during this skill. That was definitely something I remember seeing when they were in the rules. So you needed to have two people of like notoriety. So basically people who aren't gonna lie. Like one of them could be like a police officer, a judge, like whoever. And then the other person should be at least knowledgeable about what you're doing. So just before season starts, we have something called mixed pairs, which is like a fun meet. And this would be the perfect opportunity and venue to do it because there'll be a crowd. It's not very serious. We could throw this in at like in between or at the end or wherever. And there will be judges there. The coaches are there. So we have that. So it kind of checked everything off the list. So with this time frame, I've got about 3 or 4 months to continue to train and see how long I can actually hold this thing. My training to break the record's probably not the most interesting, but I do remember doing a lot of cross pulls for some reason. Like I was getting up to 10 in a row. I would also do like long duration holds on the yellow type strap cross trainer things. For duration, it helps save your elbows and build up the shoulder strength. I would continue to do my like normal kind of shoulder prehab, rehab, weighted stuff. I already made a video about all those exercises, but I would continue to do those. I would also do some crosses with a weighted vest because I found it pretty boring just holding it for a long period of time. My vest wasn't too heavy. I remember my coach saying, hey, be careful with that. But I mean, I was in really good shape. So I would put like a 10-pound vest on and hold it for, I don't know, 10, 15, 18, 20 seconds or something like that. And I did do a few kind of longer duration holds just to see where I was at, but I really didn't test my max very often. I assume it's similar to like a marathon runner, like they don't run like marathons every day, right? You kind of like train in between that and then try to build up that base so then you're like can go further when you have to. And one thing that I realized was if I chewed gum while doing my cross, it helped relax me and not use as much of my like power early on. And so if you watch the video carefully, you can clearly see that I'm actively chewing gum while holding the cross. It's not as a flex like this is so easy. It was actually to keep me from going all out and burning myself out in the beginning. And it definitely does help, or help me. I don't know if it'll help you, of course, but that's why I'm doing it. Also, when I was holding the cross, I was thinking about all the rules and things of that nature. So some people in the comments, I see like, oh, he just dropped down. And I mean, looking back, I did. I just dropped down. Could I have kept holding it? Yes, of course. But there is a rule where if you have more than 1/10 deduction, then it will not count. And I did not want to have to redo this again, like to set it all up again, to have to like train all over again for it, and where I may not be in as good a shape, I might be in PT school, might not be even wanting to do it. I wanted to make sure that it would get approved, right? So once I felt myself, if you watch the video, once I felt myself drop just a little bit, that's when I came down. And at that time, I had beaten the previous record by 10 seconds. And that previous record had been around for at least like 10 or 20 years. It was a long time. So I thought, all right, like that should be good, right? So now I officially broke the world record, right? And what is that feeling like? Well, kind of like this. It really is a huge sense of accomplishment and not something everyone can do every day. But also, I know setting something like that isn't something that's going to be around forever, right? Well, this goes in my next thing. Say, oh, do you still hold it? And then I have to sadly say no. Someone beat me 2 years after. His name's Zach. He's from New York. I watched the video. I think it's a little bit questionable. I'm definitely going to do a follow-up video about this, and I'd love to see your guys' comments on it. There's no hate towards him at all. It's just, it's got to be discussed, right? I also often get asked, oh, do I plan on beating it? More a long time ago than currently, because I'm like almost 40. And my answer was always no. You know, I've got the plaque, I've got my thing, I've already have it. No one could take that from me. I can hold on to that. I can sit on that proudly. And just training across only would be so boring. So boring. So that's my story. That's it. That's how I did it. That's how I broke it, and that's where I'm at. If you liked the video, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, take care of yourself.